Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. Now, this video I am making specifically for one of my. I've had someone watch several of my videos. I'm not gonna say his full name. I'm gonna just use his last name, Mr. May. Now, Mr. May has left a fair amount of comments on several of my videos asking me questions about investing in the state of Indiana, asking me questions about investing in different cities in the state of Indiana. So this video is going to be for that person, and it's going to also be for any one of you that desire to invest in the state of Indiana or in any states similar to Indiana. And some of the information that I give is useful for investing anywhere in this country. So I thought I would just go ahead and do a quick video. Now, I've done another video just kind of touching on real estate investing, I would say about a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. But I'm going to do another one. And on this video, I'm going to try to be a little bit more specific. So, May has given me a comment. It was about 20 minutes or so ago. This individual wants to invest in Indiana. Now, I got a few questions for you. Question number one. And you don't have to answer this question to me because this is your own business. But this is one of the top questions that everyone who wants to invest ought to be asking themselves. First of all, what kind of investing do you want to do? Are you trying to buy a house and fix it up and flip it? Are you trying to purchase a home and maybe sell it on land contracts for people that have less than perfect credit? Are you trying to buy a house and fix it up and rent it out? What kind of investing are you trying to do? And secondly, what kind of money do you have? What's your method of purchase here? Are you gonna finance this purchase? Are you gonna pay cash? If you're going to finance a purchase, how much money do you have to put down? How much are your monthly payments going to be? And then, of course, you're going to want to do the math. Like, how much are you going to have to spend to fix this house up if you buy a fixer-upper? If you buy something that's move-in condition ready, how much are you going to have to pay every month? And how long will your pay, how many years are you going to have to pay on it if you do financing? And how much per month are you going to charge your tenant if you choose to rent this property out? If you're going to sell it on land contracts, what are your contract agreements going to be? How long is the contract going to be? Are you going to have it to where this person pays off the house in 5 years, and 10 years, in 15, 20 years? How long are you willing to go? And how much every month is this individual going to be expected to pay you? How much money down are you going to want this person to have? Now, if you choose to buy this house and just fix it up a little bit and just flip it and put it back on the MLS and sell it, then the question becomes, A, how much are you going to pay for the house? B, how much will the repairs cost you? And are you going to be doing these repairs on your own? Are you going to do some of them on your own and have other people help you? Are you going to have other people do all the work? Those are the type of questions that you got to ask yourself as a real estate investor. Now, if you're going to purchase this house and pay cash, which would be your best bet, to be quite frank with you, then even then, how much are you going to pay for the house? How much are you going to have to put into it? And if you're going to rent it, once again, what you're going to charge a month? If you're going to sell it on land contract, how long are you going to make the payment terms? and how much money are you going to require the person to put down. Now, if you choose to rent this particular property out, if you do purchase a property, a few things to bear in mind if you're going to be a landlord. A few things you want to bear in mind is you're going to want to keep in mind the property taxes that typically will come due twice a year. You're going to want to have some sort of a maintenance budget. You're going to also want to have some sort of a budget for, well, if you get a tenant and you have to evict them, it might be several months before you get another tenant. So you're going to want to keep that in mind. There might be times where the house is vacant and you're not making no money at all. And even though you're not making no money, you're going to still have to pay money to keep the property from getting foreclosed on or whatever. Or you're going to still have to pay your taxes. You're going to still have to maintain the yard so you don't get fined by the city or the county in which the property is located in. Now, the reason why I would suggest you pay cash for this house is because if you buy this house and things don't turn out the way that you anticipate, even though you choose to resell the house and you lose a little bit of money, the money you're going to lose at that point is going to most likely be significantly less than what you would lose if you were to buy this house on finance. Because if you buy this house on finance today with these current housing prices, and let's say, okay, you have a good let's say 3 or 4 years where you got tenants, they're paying you your rent, and then on the 4th or 5th year things fall apart, and at that point maybe the market may have slowed down a little bit, so now that property is not going to be worth as much. However, if you take out a loan, the amount you're going to owe is going to reflect the housing prices today, not the housing prices 4 or 5 years from now, which means you're going to be upside down on that particular piece of property. And that's basically the type of stuff that happened to many people during the recession of the late 2000s. And you don't want that to happen to you. You don't want to be in a situation to where you have to go to foreclosure, or you have to deal with a short sale, and then it's going to have a ding on your credit. And on top of that, you're going to lose a substantial amount of money because, of course, whatever money you done put down for the house initially, you're going to lose all that. The money you may have spent for repairs to make the house habitable, you're going to lose all that money as well. And you don't want to put yourself in that type of a situation. So that's why if you buy a house for investment purposes, I don't agree with every little thing that Dave Ramsey says on his shows, but when it comes to buying a piece of real estate, he suggests that people buy a piece of real estate and pay cash if you're going to buy it for investment purposes. And I personally would suggest the same thing, because I've had my fair share of blotched housing purchases where I lost a substantial amount of money, and it took me a substantial amount of time to bounce back financially from those losses. So assuming that you already own a home and you have your house paid off, and you want to buy an investment property and you pay cash, which is what I would do, you still need to bear in mind the cost of repairs and what kind of investing are you going to do, whether you're going to be a landlord, whether you're going to fix and flip, or whether you're going to maybe do minimal repairs, if any at all, and then just sell the house as is on land contracts. And understand, if you take out any type of a loan for this particular home, all you're going to do is increase your risk by that much. I mean, me personally, I don't rent out homes. I don't do any sort of real estate investing at this point because, to be quite frank, it's not for me. I mean, for one, it's way too expensive, and especially right now with the whole pandemic crap going on, it's way too risky. I mean, right now, if I were to have a rental property and I were to get a tenant in today, they can decide tomorrow, well, I got COVID, my daughter's got COVID, and then just like that, they're not gonna have to pay me my rent, and then I'm gonna have to go through all kind of hoops and hurdles to evict this individual, and then when the day comes and the sheriff is helping me move this person out of my property, when I get my property back, there's a high chance that they might leave the property inhabitable just out of spite, because a lot of people do that type of crap, unfortunately. So that's another thing you're going to want to think about before you go investing. And that doesn't just go for people wanting to invest in Indiana. That goes for people wanting to invest anywhere in this country. And then of course here's another thing you're going to want to consider. How much money are you going to pay for this house? Now, the rule of thumb is the more you pay for a home, typically the better the community. The better the community, the better quality of tenant that you're going to get. Now, I hate to say it, but the truth is the truth. Now, if you want to invest in the hood, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to let you know that if you do, you're going to the type of tenant that you're going to get is oftentimes going to reflect that particular community. You're going to probably have a harder time collecting your payment, for one, and the probability of them skipping out on you and leaving your property in disarray will also be higher. As where if you have the right amount of money and you choose to buy a piece of property in a slightly more affluent community. I'm not talking like anywhere super wealthy. I'm just talking just maybe working class. The probability in that community is going to be higher that person, A, they're going to pay you your rent like they're supposed to, and B, they're not going to tear your property up. They're going to have an element of respect for your property. So that's another thing you're going to want to bear in mind. And you also asked about about investing in Florida. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know a whole lot about the real estate market in Florida. I really don't. But what I can tell you is Florida is a lot more aggressive than Indiana when it comes to real estate. Because you go down to Florida and you buy a piece of real estate, there's people even I don't care if you go to any of the ghettos in Florida. There's a lot of places in Florida, even the ghettos, where a seller might have a piece of property for sale for, let's say, $100,000. And you might go in and you might think, okay, well, if they're asking 100, I'm going to submit an offer in for 75 or 80. And you're probably thinking it's going to be easy peasy because it's in the hood. Well, there's people from New York, for an example, that will come in, and rather than offering that $100,000, they may offer $120,000. I mean, that's just, in a nutshell, that's just a type of shenanigans that you're going to run into if you try to invest in Florida. Now, I'm pretty sure there's pockets in Florida where property is crazy cheap and the market is not going to be that aggressive. Now, there's a YouTube channel out here called Southern Life. I mean, he mainly does videos of Florida and Alabama, and every so often he'll travel and do videos of other parts of the South. So if you if you have any further questions concerning Florida, you might want to go to that channel and highlight him. But as far as it goes for Indiana, and really the information I just gave you really is good for anywhere in this country. But as far as investing in Indiana, even right now, offers one of the cheapest and least aggressive real estate markets in the country. So if you want to invest in Indiana, just think of everything that I just discussed on this video. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and I will answer those questions to the best of my ability. So I hope this video helps you out, and I hope it helps out anybody else wanting to invest in Indiana. And also, as far as investing in Indiana, I mean, there's a whole bunch of places in Indiana that are decent to invest in. I mean, like I said, it depends on your money. It depends on your method of financing. And another rule of thumb is, personally, if I were to still be in real estate investing, I would not own a property that's any further than 2 hours away from where I live. That way, because I figure if I have a piece of property and it's within an hour or two of where I live, no more than 2 hours, that way I can jump in my car, I can drive to the property, I can check out the property, make sure it's not being vandalized, make sure nothing funky is going on, like someone is squatting in my yard living in their tent, or someone broke into my house and now they're squatting in the house. So personally, I would advise you to not live anywhere. If you're going to invest in Indiana, or in anywhere for that matter, I would advise you to not invest in an area any further than 2 hours from where you live. If you can find something within an hour where you live, that would be much better, but no farther than 2 hours. So I don't want to make this video too long. So I'm hoping that this video gave you some insight of what you need to think about before you invest. Everybody have a blessed one, and good luck to everyone that wants to invest.